Happy New Year's, everyone. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Michelle and I are so excited to have this
Oh my gosh.
conversation with you. Michelle, I realize that a lot of the people tuning in probably know of you, and good Lord, if they don't know you, they need to know you after this. They're gonna want to know you after this. But for those of you that I have not met yet, I just want to introduce myself and so that you know a bit about who I am. Then I'm going to turn it over to Michelle so she can let you know a bit about who she is. But just know that we are like over the moon excited to have this conversation, to pour some love and life and freaking fire right in your pants, like to get you guys so excited for 2024. And here's the deal, friends. Before I share a bit about who I am, for those of you that I haven't had the pleasure to meet yet, I want you to know that Michelle and I are both very much in the trenches with all y'all. Like we are getting our butt kicked in the arena of business. If you are in the entrepreneurial space, I want you to drop hashtag holla in the comments so we know who our people are out there trying to make a difference, trying to make an impact, trying to change their lives by way of taking back the reins, taking back control. And here's the deal. We're 10 days into 2024. And I already know that some people are like, oh my God, what is happening? Oh my God, can I get a redo? Oh my gosh, like I feel like my Christmas is still up and I feel like I'm already behind. If you've ever felt that way, like you're already behind, friends, drop some hearts in the comments. Because today's really going to help you. This is designed to help you take your power back and learn how to manipulate energy, generate it, and be really intentional with practices that build more of it so that it helps work for you in your business when life gets in the way, when kids get in the way, when circumstances and all the spouses and the whoever like get in the way. You know what I'm saying? Guys, this is the real deal. So I'll do a real quick intro and then I'm going to pass it off to Michelle so she can introduce herself. This is such an honor to have this conversation with her. And as you guys are tuning in, I see lots of you now. Make sure you say, what's up, gals? And if you're catching this on a replay, drop in the comments, what sector of business are you in right now? Drop it in the comments below so we know who we're connecting with. For those of you I haven't met yet, my name is Jen Cooper. Here's a virtual high five or a fist pump. I'm so happy to meet you. So happy to have this honest conversation. I have been in the sales arena for over 20 years now, which makes me feel really old saying that out loud. But I've been in the sales profession for over 20 years. I've done recruiting for the National Cheerleaders Association. I have done insurance sales where I wanted to stab my eyes out every day. I did not enjoy it. And no offense to those of you, like good on ya. My husband is an insurance agent, so let's see. I also did specialty pharmaceuticals, high-end medical devices. Then I'm a workaholic. I'm just going to say it. I'm a workaholic. I love to hustle. I love to make the money. I love to make a difference. Am I with my people? Do you love to make the money? Love to make a difference? Drop some flames in the comments. You guys, I managed to, by the grace of, gosh, I don't even know what, after a long time trying to get pregnant, we got pregnant with my twin boys, Bryce and Mason, while I was in the OR doing my device work, which I loved, by the way. I loved it so much. Loved being a part of that patient's healing trajectory. But something told me when they were born that I wasn't supposed to be there anymore. Something told me with as long as it took to conceive them, that I couldn't pass them off to somebody. When it was time to go back to work, by the time the NICU time was over, we only had like 6 weeks left, if that, of maternity leave, and we hadn't even gone home yet. So I decided to call everything, went back to zero, started wiping butts and boogers all day, and I thought, oh my gosh, I no longer have an income. This is much more humbling of an experience than I thought it would be. And lo and behold, I had no idea that this wonderful world of network marketing, something like my dear friend Michelle Barnes picked up on right away. She was smart as a whip, was like, I see that vision. I'm going after that vision. And here I am like, okay, network marketing seems cool, but I'm pretty sure that it might be a scam. So I'm not sure. So that's how I began. And the more I learned and the more I uncovered, the more I realized, oh my gosh, this is legitimately the best opportunity in the world for someone like me who's excited, who loves people, who's, driven to make a difference and, loves to make the money and loves to help other people make the money. This ended up being a dream come true. 9 years into my network marketing experience, I have built 2 companies to 6-figure positions and beyond, and also developed a sales coaching business to help more network marketers be able to have the success they truly desire. So that's me, not really in a nutshell. All right, Michelle, you go. Tell them who you are.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, Jen, thank you for having me. And I just freaking love and adore you. And I love how our personalities are so similar that like we're texting about this and we're both getting each other more and more fired up. So when we say, like I say all the time, energy is everything and everything is energy. And energy is caught, not taught. Okay. So you can catch Jen's energy, obviously. We're probably going to light these freaking like phones and laptops on fire today, but I'm just so excited to be here. And I just feel like we're in this such a crazy freaking time right now. And I think what we need right now is we need more of us to be the light. Like if we've ever needed to be the light, it's like more now than ever before. So I am just saying yes to the things that bring the light right now. And saying yes to you is one of those things that just I've been so excited about this. And I'm just so excited about what you're doing. And I love what you do, how you do it, how you roll. Obviously, you're like my sister from another mister. I call you my little mini me because, yes, you're way younger. Yes, you're way tinier.
You're way
But
hotter, though. Let's be real.
oh, oh, whatever. Stop it some more, girl. Stop it some more. But anyway, so in a nutshell, like, like Jen was saying, I actually, went to CU Boulder. I'm here in Colorado. I went to law school for a year. I, like Jen, it's kind of funny when you were sharing that story, and I love hearing your story. I've heard it so many times, but I love hearing it because I do believe that we really need to listen to that internal GPS. And when I was in my first year of law school, I wanted to be an attorney since I was like 13 years old. So here I was in my first year of law school. I was $80,000 in debt from 4 years of college, 1 year of law school. And I knew, that I was in the wrong place. And I was freaking out, Jen, because I was like, what, why? Like, this is what I wanted to do since like middle school. And here I am, like, with this feeling of like, I just feel like this is not where I'm supposed to be. And I was interning for 3 attorneys. They were the most miserable humans on the planet. I really still to this day haven't met an attorney that really like actually loves what they do for a living. So that should have been my first sign. Well, it was a sign because I remember thinking, man, that's going to be me in 20 years. Like, if I keep doing what I'm doing, that's going to be me. Plus, I was the only female in the firm at the time. And even though I was just an intern, I was the only female in the firm. And I knew that I wanted to be a mom since birth. And like you, Jen, it took me 17 months just to get pregnant with my first son. So almost 2 years. So honestly, I thought I waited too long. That's a whole nother Oprah. But I knew I wanted to be a freaking mom. And I was like thinking, how am I going to be the kind of mom that I want to be when I would have to be and be the businesswoman I want to be, because our personality types are so competitive and we like to like work hard and be the best and bring our A game, right? And so I was like, how am I going to do both of those things well? And sorry, my puppy, I taught him to ring the bell when he has to go potty. So you might
Oh,
hear the bells
no.
on the door ring every once in a while. And the door's open, which I did intentionally because I knew he was going to slam the, what out of the bells. And so I left it open and he's just doing it just to get attention. So it's really awesome. So you'll know what the bells are. um, but anyway, long story short, In between my first year and second year of law school, I just, I was like, man, there's got to be something else out there. And that's when I was introduced to network marketing. And honestly, Jen, I almost walked out of my first meeting because I thought I was going in for a job interview. And I saw a bunch of products in the corner and was just like, gosh, here we go again. It's another one of these deals. I've seen these things before. And I almost walked out. And I will tell you, the guy that I had talked to on the phone built so much rapport with me. And we really connected on the phone. And he was like, look, every single thing you said you were looking for in life, this has to offer. And you will never know if you walk out that door.
Oh,
And he was just like, look, like you were going to spend 45 minutes with me anyway. He's like, just why don't you just listen? And if it's not for you, and I have said this 100 times a day for the last 28 years that I've been in this profession, he said, look, if it's for you, great. If not, great. Like, if not, no biggie. Like, if it's not for you, we'll part as friends. And I was like, all right, fair enough. I'll sit through
I
the
love
45.
that energy where he's like the removed from the process either
Yes.
way. That was very
Yeah.
evident.
Oh my gosh, talk about marry the process, divorce the outcome, right? And so when he said that, I was just like, okay, fine, I'll sit through this stupid ass presentation and then I'll walk out. And it was an ego thing, Jen. It was like, well, I'm going to be an attorney. And meanwhile, I didn't want to be a freaking attorney anymore. But I was like, well, I'm not going to be a vitamin lady because what would my friends think? I'm not going to be a water filter lady. What would my friends think?
You thought
So
you kind of felt like you were above it.
yeah, oh, totally. Which
I can
is
empathize with
ridiculous.
that.
Which is so ridiculous because I had 3 jobs and I was still broke. I mean, I was waiting tables and bartending. I was a personal trainer. I was interning for a couple of attorneys. Like I was living, not even living paycheck to paycheck. I was in a 1 bedroom apartment. I mean, like, ooh, you too can have this. You know what I mean? Like, come on, you know. But I did. And so I sat through the presentation and the more I heard, the more I fell in love with it. And I was just like, wow, like I already love health and fitness and nutrition and wellness. That I'm already very passionate about that. I love helping people, and I really fell in love. And that's what we're talking about today. What I fell in love with the most, Jen, through that whole process, was teaching people how to think differently. And I mean, my first 3-day seminar, like I was done. I was like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. This is what I was put on this planet to do. And yeah, I just, for me, it was one of those situations where I was like, I want to be able to change people's lives like this person up on stage has done for me.
I just wrote down what you said when you said, I fell in love with the idea of teaching people to think differently. Friends, I don't know if that hit you the way it hit me, but what I sense from that is a level of accountability and ownership over our businesses and what we're doing. Like all of you guys on here, you're obviously watching for a reason. You're catching the replay for a reason.
Yeah.
When you find yourself on this, we're going to dive into the energy, but just to kind of like prep the runway, when you find yourself either, like worried about what people are going to think about you or almost annoyed that maybe your spouse doesn't get it or your friends
Yeah.
think you're dumb, if you find yourself irritated by those things, first off, that's creating an energy in you that's making you vibe at a very low level. What if you took it upon yourself to say, okay, it's on me to develop what I need to in myself to help assist them to think outside their current circumstances, to think outside what they may be thinking right now. Because people already have a preconceived notion of what we do, right? Instead of like kind of fighting it, it's so much more advantageous to say, I'm going to take ownership. It's on me to change my energy about this. And if I'm focused on trying to see what I can do to help them see this differently, I just feel like that would make you vibe at a higher level and also a level that would be much more respected by those that you're trying to do business with.
Oh my gosh, Jen, I love that. And I thought of so many things just now, like what kind of energy are you bringing to every space? When I say energy is everything and everything is energy, what Are you playing at a level 10? Like what is your posture? And energy is a posture, and posture is energy. And so when one thing that I realized very quickly when I started in the business, I mean, I was $80,000 in debt. I was waiting tables and bartending. So it's not like when I went to talk to people about this business, and it's not like we had social media back then. So we did the whole friends and family gig and make your 100 names list and all those things. And so when I went to people, I mean, they respected kind of the fact that I went to college and law school, but I mean, really, like I was broke. So, they were probably like, oh, I'm going to follow you. And okay, but here's the thing, I call it OPO, other people's opinions, and other people's opinions will make you or break you, period. And I dealt with a lot of that when I dropped out of law school. I mean, my mom's my biggest fan in the entire world. She's my best friend in the entire world. And she was my biggest nightmare when I started in this business. I mean, she was just like, oh my gosh, it's one of those pyramid deals. You're never going to make any money. Those things don't work. You're going to go to jail. And I'm like, jail? Like what? And so I was like, and so it was so bad. And I fell in love with the business so fast that it's all I wanted to do. Like I literally wanted to just do this business 24/7. And so my mom was like, you care about this business more than you do your family. This is like, it's like a cult, and you've changed. Well, thank God I was changing. I mean, hello, how are you going to get better if you don't change? But that is going to rock some people's worlds. It's like crabs in a bucket, right? I mean, they say that if you have more than one crab in the bucket, you don't even have to put a lid on it, because the other crabs will just keep pulling them down and pulling them into the bucket, and
By the
that's
way,
life.
has anybody ever felt that way? Drop
Uh,
some hearts in the comments if you have felt since you started your entrepreneurial journey that there have been people that have been kind of trying to pull you out of it and
yeah.
pull you down. Drop some hearts in the comments, because I want you to know that you are definitely not alone.
Oh,
Sorry,
not
Michelle, keep
alone,
going.
not alone at all. And I think a lot of times our friends and family have very good intention. Like my mom's intent was not to hold me back or to be malicious. She was worried about me. She thought I should go get a real job. I mean, even after I made 102,000 my first year in network marketing, she was like, "Oh, that's great, honey, but when are you going to get a real job?" And I was like, "Are you shitting me right now?" Yeah, excuse the French, but I was like, "Dude, like I've just made more money than you. Like, are you kidding me?" You know? But it's okay. And that's where we have to stand up. We have to really have posture.
Yeah.
And, I used to always tell my team, it's like you're like a bird on a perch and they're trying to knock you off your perch, and they want to see, like, if I just keep picking, and if like they want to see, are you going to stand your ground? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So they want to see, like, do you really believe in what you're doing right now? And so they want to see if you're going to stand your ground.
Mm-hmm.
And when
Mm-hmm.
you do, they will stop bugging you. They'll stop being negative. They'll stop that, or they'll go away, one or the other.
Yes. And guys, here's the deal. It's not the worst thing. Like many of you have probably heard that this type of gig is like a personal development experience with a compensation plan attached to it. It is so true. It's not always the worst thing.
Yeah.
When you start to grow, don't be surprised when people are like, you've changed. You should
Yeah.
say, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for noticing,
Yeah.
because I've been trying so hard and I'm not really sure, like, if I'm supposed to be here, if I'm skilled enough or talented enough. And thank you for confirming that I'm different now. And like Michelle said, those people will sort of see themselves out,
Hmm.
won't they? And I
Hmm.
know it's hard, friends. I know it's hard, especially when it's family. Believe my whole family still acts like I don't have a job. They
Oh
still,
gosh.
after all this time,
Oh my
I
gosh.
mean, anyways, they still act like that. And we've had, like, lovingly a bit of distance, but
Hmm.
now because of that, I'm able to open up space for
Space.
energy like Michelle. I look forward
Hmm.
to every time I connect with her.
Every
All of
time.
you that are in the comments right now, you guys are in my life because I removed energy
Hmm.
that kept me vibing low so that I can come up and we can vibe together here. That's not always a bad thing, right, Michelle?
Oh my gosh. You know, Jen, I talk about it all the time because whatever you're feeling is what you are attracting. And so, if you want to attract different results, then you need to change the way you feel. Because whatever we're feeling is what we're attracting. I always say your thoughts lead to your feelings, which lead to your actions, which lead to your results. So, positive in, positive out, negative in, negative out. It sounds so simple, but do not miss that point because that is actually what allowed me to make 102,000 my first year, make my first million before the age of 30, go through so many. I mean, I've had companies get shut down, I've had companies go out of business. I mean, I've had to start over 5 times. I mean, I'm a single mom. I'm the sole provider of my kids. I mean, like the last 3 years have probably been the hardest personally in my entire life, but we get to choose. We get to choose how we feel. And that is the only thing that we have 100% control over is our thoughts and our feelings. But if our thoughts and our feelings are creating our existence, I would say the inner creates the outer, the roots create the fruit. So if you don't like the fruit on the trees is the results in your life. If you don't like the results, you've got to change the roots. That's where the problem is starting, the challenge. And it is a challenge. However, I mean, guys, there are people that have had it way worse than you that are doing extremely well. There's people that have had it way better, And so, first of all, we have to, we always say comparison is the thief of joy. And Jen, it's like we all do it. We all like, well, I should be here, or I should be doing that, or I should be. Stop
I thought I'd
shooting
be
all
further
over.
along by now.
Oh my God, totally.
Yeah.
And it's all relative, right, guys? I mean, new levels, new devils. Instead of celebrating where we are, a lot of times we're like, yeah, but I should be here or I should be further ahead. So stop shooting on yourself, you know, and realize that, like, hey, you are exactly where you are because your choices have gotten you to where you are, but also our energy. So what do we want to attract? And guys, I know it's crazy out there, but here's the thing, like my word for this year is create.
Mm.
And I am going to be creating so much amazingness in every aspect of my life this year. And that was a God moment. And I'll, share that another day, or if we have time, but holy cow, so here's the thing, guys, you are God's highest form of creation. So why are you playing small? Why are any of us playing small? You know?
That's a great question. I would love to hear your responses, guys. Why do you feel, and don't overthink it, at the top of your head was the first thing that comes to mind. Why are you playing small right now? I would love to hear. I know for me, it's sometimes I have imposter syndrome creep
Yeah.
in a little bit. Like, should I really be doing what I'm doing or sharing what I'm sharing? Do I have the authority, the
Yeah.
credentials, like, and who does that? Like, no, it's like not determined. So I have that creep in every now and then. That's what's holding
And
me back from my potential.
Jen, that's what's holding me back. And I mean, look, I have 28 years of, never making less than 6 figures, and I still have imposter syndrome.
Wait. Let's say that again for the louder for the people in the back. Almost 30 years in the
Mhm.
profession, rebuilt 5 times or more, constantly rebuilding, and never made less than 6 figures. And she's telling you that she experiences that too. I think
Yeah.
this just got really real here, like
Yeah,
really
and I
real.
think we need to be real. And you and I talk. I mean, the good thing is we have such an amazing relationship that we can talk about stuff, and it's like, I think that sure, people could look at you, they could look at me and go, "Oh my gosh, they're so lucky." Well, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Number one, you know. I mean, and I look back to what I did in that first year, and that first year definitely set the pace for the last 28 because I was freaking relentless. I was ruthless. I was willing to fail. I did it wrong. I sucked. I embraced the suck. But I always showed up, you
Michelle,
know?
what do you think that level, by the way, it's so
Yeah.
respectable. What do you think that level, and I'm with you, that obsession, I think
Yeah.
people sometimes speak at like it's a bad thing. And I'm
Oh,
like,
no way.
I think about the story of Steve Jobs and how he got, I don't know if it was the former CEO of Pepsi or something. He was trying to get in front of this guy, trying to get him on his team when he was launching Apple. And he was relentless about his pursuit and following up with this guy, and fought like to an obsessive degree, like hunting him down, leaving the messages, never hearing back. Could have, and literally by the very last time, he said, when you're done selling sugar water to kids and you want to change the world, call me back. Hangs up. And that was the final conversation. That was the final message, but it was that relentlessness and that obsession. I want to know, what do you think that level of obsession that you had that first year in business, what did it do that made you generate 102,000 that first year?
You know, I mean, Jen, I fell in love with what I was doing. And I think like your why will change over the years. I mean, my why, I was pretty scrappy and I'm still pretty scrappy, but I've mellowed out a lot in my old age. But back then, I mean, it was like almost like my why initially was to shove it up everyone's ass that told me I couldn't do it and told me that I was crazy and all those things. So that why will get you so far. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's good fuel on the fire. It was good motivation for me. I was never going to let them say, I told you so. I mean, I was never going to let those words come out of someone's mouth like, oh, I told you it wasn't going to work. Well, the only way it's not going to work is if I don't work. I mean, this industry's created more millionaires than any industry in the entire world. There's someone starts a home-based business every 10 seconds. So whether it's in your team or someone else's, that's up to you, and I think for me, one thing that I did from day one is I took 100% responsibility for where I was or wasn't in my freaking life. And I still do to this day. And is it hard, like when circumstances rock your world and shit happens and you feel like you're punched in the gut? I mean, I could write books, I could write novels on all the horrible things that have happened in the last 28 years that should have stopped me. But again, it was my choice. Am I going to let my circumstances stop me? Or am I going to be one of those people that goes out and changes the world and changes my family's world, because that's what this industry can do,
I feel the need to point out something you said when on being obsessed your first year. Your first words were, I fell in love with what I was doing. Guys, when you fall in love with your vision, your opportunity, what you see in front of you, and just for a moment, put the blinders on to what the naysayers are saying around you. Love that's an emotion. That's a thing.
Vibration.
When you generated that, and I guarantee that transferred to other people. But if you were letting people come in, that would have kind of had you hanging down here. It probably would have been really difficult to close business partners, huh?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, like, love is the highest vibration. I mean, and I'll drop in the comments, like, I can't see any of the comments right now, but I'll go back and I'll drop this like energy kind of vibrational frequency kind of picture that I'm a visual person. Visible is memorable for me, right? So when I see something, it's like, whoa. So I'm going to drop that in the comments later on when we're finished. But like shame and guilt and apathy and frustration and disappointment and all those things are so low vibe. Jealousy, envy, all those things are very low vibe. So when you're feeling that way, that is exactly what you're attracting. But when you go up that vibrational scale to, happiness and gratitude and joy and thankfulness and love and is like, that's like the highest vibration and God consciousness and whatever you believe in, whether you believe in God or Yoda, Buddha, whatever, you do you.
Yoda.
But, whatever. I believe in God. And so for me, that's what I use. But, for me, I think that if we want to raise the vibration of this planet and make this place make the world a better place, we got to start. It starts right here with us. And it starts with us raising our own vibration. And when I say thoughts are things, right? Sorry, my puppy's barking. When I say thoughts are things, I mean, my kids even get so sick of hearing me say it all the time. They're like, I know thoughts are things. I don't really need a lecture right now, which is fine. I'm like, yes, you do. but, but I mean, it's true. Thoughts are things. So whatever your thoughts are and feelings are, that's what we're creating. So let's choose to create. Let's just be better. Instead of being bitter, be better. You can be a victim or you can be a victor. That's your choice. That's our choice. I could have easily folded in the last few years with all the crap I've been through, and there's so many times I could have thrown in the towel in my network marketing business, gazillion times that I could have thrown in the towel. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason. How many of you truly believe that? Like, drop in the comments if you believe that everything happens for a reason and a purpose. I am a big believer of that. And, I love what Steve Jobs says. You can always connect the dots looking back, but you can't always connect them looking forward. And so I look back over the last 28 years that I've been in this profession, and there have been so many times where I'm just like, wow, like what the hell? Like, why is this happening? And you can have a minute to be like, woe is me, but then you got to put on your big girl pants, your big boy pants, and say, you know what? Shit happens. If it's to be, it's up to me. Like, have faith. You got to have faith too. Whatever your faith is, like, you have to have faith that something bigger and better is coming. That God would never put you through what you're going through unless there was something better on the other side. And I've always believed that. I've always believed that.
I always believe, especially people like all of us that are having this conversation. Guys, are you enjoying this so far? Drop a hashtag value if you're getting something out of this. I think for all of us here that are very service oriented, I feel like it's really easy for us to have those moments where if we don't feel like we're making an impact, if we don't feel like we're growing our businesses, we can, like you said, there's times that we want to quit.
Yeah.
Let's be real with these guys that there will be so many more times, friends, that you probably want to throw in the towel when you're doing this and when you're forging ahead. The trick is to learn to get up faster. Now, in almost like you're exercising resilience muscles, right?
100%.
Michelle, I got to ask you now, if we were to talk like tangible stuff, because energy is tough, right? It is a thing. It's a thing. And we know, like, let's just be honest, like in 2024, I'm anticipating some, additional challenges and obstacles and some continuation of the wild west of network marketing. But what I also know is that adversity always breeds opportunity. Always breeds opportunity, right? So for those that are here and they're watching and they want some tangible nuggets, knowing that it's going to be probably a challenging year in our profession, but that the crowd is almost like parting for them to be the next rising network marketing professionals. What do you do to almost arm yourself with good energy, almost generate it before you need it? Does that make sense? Like, what are some things that you do routinely that maybe don't seem like a big deal to you because it's so natural and part of your practices, but it contributes to why you're able to vibe fairly high, right? And also bounce back quicker. What are some things you do?
Coop, I'm relentless when it comes to my morning routine, my evening routine, because your day starts the night before, because whatever you're thinking or experiencing right before you put your head on that pillow marinates for 8 hours, 7 hours, however long you're sleeping. That shit's marinating, right? And so do you want good stuff to marinate or bad stuff? And so if you watch the news before you go to bed, like, I haven't watched the news, and I'm sorry, like, I make sure I know kind of what's happening in our world, but I can't. First of all, I'm the biggest empath on the planet. So I absorb all the crap, and I've got to shield myself from that. So I'm aware.
Well, let's understand that the news channels are businesses, friends, and their job is to get you to tune in and to continue tuning in. And fear is the greatest way to drive an agenda. So I couldn't agree with you more. If you're watching the news before bed, you're basically like, ugh.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's just gross. It's gross. And here's the thing, I mean, we could go down that rabbit hole for days, you and I, but we
We'll
won't.
do a part 2. Would you guys like us to
We'll
do a part 2
spare
on that?
we'll spare your audience. But no, so for me, it is prayer. Prayer and meditation is huge for me. That's a huge piece. And how you start your day is how your day goes. I end my day with gratitude and prayer. I start my day with gratitude and prayer. I mean, like the second I open my eyes, I say, thank you, God. When I walk to the bathroom, I say, thank you with each step. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you till I get to the bathroom. I mean, there's just certain little things that I do and every morning, like I've been doing a lot of work over the last 3 or 4 years, a lot of inner work, a ton. And it's almost like I tell people, it's almost like God threw this 1,000-piece just jigsaw puzzle on the floor. And I keep just getting a piece and another piece and another piece. And I'm just kind of putting together this beautiful picture. And it's been probably a good 3 years now that this 3, 4 years that this has been happening. And so I do a lot where I just ask, ask and it's given. So, whatever you're asking, whatever higher power you're asking, like I ask, like, what do I need to hear today that is going to allow me to show up the way you want me to show up? And what do I need to hear this morning to be of service to the greatest amount of people? And I'm not even kidding you, Jen. I open up YouTube and the very first video is like usually this like daily prayer, and it's usually like 13 minutes. And what's crazy is this was popping up day after day after day. And I was like, I wonder if it's just because I like listened to it one time. So that's why it's popping up. But then I noticed I hadn't even subscribed to it. So I was like,
that was an
okay,
energy.
Yeah. And so then I subscribe to it and now it pops up all the time even more, but it really is it's awesome, and every single day I feel like it's a message that I need to hear. And I do gratitude every morning because if you're not grateful for what you have, you're never going to get more.
That's right.
You're just not. And I
Michelle,
a
let's
daily
talk.
thing. Yeah.
That is a really good point about being, I forget what the verse is that says, he who is grateful for little will be blessed with much. How often do we see and hear network marketers say, I just want more people to join my team. And, meanwhile, maybe they have 3 customers. Maybe they have 2 people on their team. So they already have acquired some, but meanwhile, all they're thinking is, people just don't want to join me. Like, I don't have enough. Like, and think about where that energy
or Jen, energetically, they are resenting people who have been in longer, have worked harder, have, had better mentors or better systems or maybe a better company, or, but they just, social media, we're looking at the highlight reels. So they're looking at that going, oh, well, easy for her to say. I mean, look at how much money she makes or whatever. And I went to a seminar in 2007, Jen, and I heard a term called huna. And it's a Hawaiian term, and it means bless that which you want. And what he said at that event was, you will never get what you resent.
Yeah.
So when people are like, oh, like, if you're resentful towards somebody, or if think about energetically what you're pushing it away, you're pushing success away. But when you bless that what you want, and even when I was trying to get pregnant, it's kind of the same thing. Like, I'd see women who are pregnant and like I was happy for them, but there was a piece of me that was like, damn you, like, why not me? And I see a lot of people in network marketing do that. Like, God, like, look at Coop. I mean, she's crushing it. She's successful. And like, oh, either I'll never be like her, or, or why does she have those results and I don't? Or why is so-and-so flying up through the ranks and I'm not? I'm doing exactly what they're doing. But energetically, you're not, or you'd have it. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so good. By the way, that whole starting, I'm with you on the relentless start to my day. it is a religion for me.
Yes.
If
Oh,
I
sacred,
don't, yes, it's sacred. And
sacred.
by the way, friends, I know that you are just eating up like what Michelle is putting out there right now. Let me just tell you that this is the bare surface of what this woman has to offer and what she shares with all of us professionals. And so for those of you that don't know already, she is one of our featured guest presenters on the Run with Champions.
I'm so
We
excited.
start in T minus 12 days. 12
Oh my
days.
gosh.
You guys, it is the lineup for this. If you need, it's almost laughable because it's so
Insane.
strong. The people, these are some of the most sought out professionals in all of the industry. The top performers in other
Mhm.
companies as well, outside the one that we
Mhm.
participate in. This
Yeah.
is a collaboration of the highest degree. And if you want to see Michelle again and be more like in a one-on-one, like in this like a round table, like inclusive type environment, you don't want to miss
No.
this, friends. So drop hashtag champion in the comments below if you want info on it. I'll also edit the remarks, but sorry, rewind. That
Well,
whole
Jen,
more,
really quick though, I
yeah,
want to
yeah,
say something.
sure.
The reason why you've been able to get all of these amazing leaders to do this and to collaborate with you is because of you and your energy. So, I mean, huge kudos to you, girl. I mean, the lineup you have is insane. I mean, like it's just sick and wrong. Let's be
I
real.
didn't think you all were going to say yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like sick and wrong. It's amazing. And I was blessed to be part of it last year. And I just, I think what you're doing here is exactly what our entire profession needs right now, probably more than ever, ever, ever before. And I promise you, I know the people in that lineup. Many of them are very, very near and dear to my heart, like dear, dear, dear friends. And I mean, we're gonna bring our A game, y'all. So if you are not signed up for this, like what the hell are you waiting for? You're asking and you're receiving. Now just take action, you
This
know?
I appreciate that so much. And this whole thing that we're creating really is, I've always called it, I've always said that I developed it because I wanted to manipulate a circle of winners,
Yeah.
people that think like winners, that act
Yeah.
like winners, that action like
Yeah.
winners. And energetically, what it
Oh,
creates, it's
oh
profound.
my
And,
gosh.
and active gratitude and a morning routine is definitely part of our focus
Yeah.
in that 90-day sprint.
I
I
love it.
love what you said about doing it on the back end of the day as well.
Mhm.
That I have not done personally. My morning
Oh,
routine is sacred, but the idea of reinforcing before my subconscious
yeah.
marinates on whatever's in my mind. Thank you for that, because that's something
Oh,
I don't even do at the end of
girl,
my
it's actually how I fall asleep every night is through prayer and gratitude because I mean, think about that, like your subconscious mind, and I could go crazy with this 'cause I'm like a total freak about the brain and how the brain works and your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. But your conscious mind has the ability to accept or reject. Your subconscious mind does not. So whatever is imprinted on your subconscious mind just is, and your subconscious mind is how you start to feel and who you show up as. So you want to I mean, that's your paradigm, that's your set of beliefs and habits. And in order to change your life, you've got to change your paradigm. And until you change your paradigm, you're never going to change your life. And I don't want to get all deep and stuff and get all crazy with that, but the reality is that there's only two ways to change your paradigm, and one is through repetition, and the other one is through like some very
like a
emotional impact.
like a
Like
trauma.
typically something really bad has to
Mhm,
happen.
mhm.
Like, you get cancer, or or someone you love gets cancer, or you're in a horrible car accident, or like why wait for something? Because typically one of those emotional impacts is traumatic. But if we know that we can, through repetition and energy and the way we feel, and by choosing better thoughts and better feelings, if we know that repetition is the mother of all learning, and we can control that to some degree along with our faith, that is like huge, you guys. So yeah, whatever you focus on grows. So if you focus on what you're grateful for, you're going to get more of what you're grateful for. If you focus on all the freaking crap in your life, you're going to be a freaking crap magnet.
Yeah.
Like you are going to attract so much
Literally a
crap.
shit magnet.
Yeah, literally.
Oh my God, this is so good. Guys, I don't even want this to end.
I don't
Listen,
either.
I got to ask another question because
Okay.
there's more people jumping on, and I'm loving this conversation. Are you guys enjoying this? By the way, if you haven't shared this with your people yet, what the heck? Tag
Yes.
them, share it with your teammates, because literally what they are able to do this year, or what they won't, is so dependent on these things. Oh my God. Okay. So how about another, for that practice that you have? What's another tangible thing that you do that you think contributes to vibing at a high energy level?
So for me, and I know you're the same too, Jen, I'm like, I gotta move my body. Like, yes, I work out probably 6 or 7 days a week. And it doesn't even have to be like, I mean, it has been statistically proven that 20 minutes of walking, actually 10 minutes of walking, is better than an antidepressant as far as what it does for the chemicals in our brain. And so just like even if it's just walking, I bought a walking pad and I'm obsessed with it. And I will literally like return messages, three-way chats. I mean, I'm like three-way chat. Like I'll walk on this walking pad for an hour and 15 minutes. I'll walk like 4 or 5 miles, and I'm caught up on all my messages. And I've just walked like 8,000 steps. Like,
I do
so,
the same thing as you. Have
oh,
you ever like tripped and like busted it while you're
oh
like
yeah.
trying to do your
Or my puppy will come and like throw a rubber chicken on the walking pad. I'm like, what? You know? I mean, the craziest things have happened on that damn thing. But you gotta so Tony Robbins always says that motion creates emotion. And it is so important to move your body. And what state are you in? Like, are your shoulders back? Are you, is your chin up? How are you holding yourself up? And my biggest thing with people in network marketing, I think one of the biggest reasons I did make 102,000 my first year was because I borrowed somebody else's posture until I had my own. And so when I say act as if, like if you were making 10,000 a month right now, how would you walk? How would you talk? How would you act? What would your posture be? How would you talk, how would you approach somebody about your products or your services? How would you approach people about your business? If you were making 10,000 a month, and that was what I thought every single day when I started in this profession. Is I was like, okay, I had a mentor, her name was Sandy, and she just radiated confidence, and she was just a badass, and she was freaking funny. And so for me, I was like, it was kind of like one of those, what would Sandy do, And she was making 30, 40,000 a month at the time. And to me, I was like, dude, if I made 40,000 this year, I'd be jacked. I mean, I was 23 years old. I was like, she was like, she said, she's like, yeah, I made 40,000. And I'm like, in a year? And she was like, no, last month, stupid. And I was like, oh, holy, like, you don't know what you don't know. Right. And that's why this run with champions, guys, you become who you hang around. So, surround we are a product of our environment. So I had to start hanging out with people that were making 30, 40,000 a month, 100,000 a month, 200,000 a month. If I ever wanted to be them, I needed to hang out with those people. And you're great about
Mm.
that, Jen. You are such a sponge, and you're so humble, and you surround yourself with so many amazing people, and you're always so helpful and so giving that, like, all anybody on the planet wants to do is turn around and give right back to you.
Wow, that's incredibly sweet. It it's an honor. It really is. And what you just said is actually something that I wrote down. In
Of
addition
course.
to changing your state and what and getting moving, it makes
Yeah.
me think of. I always said, you're never going to meet a pissed off person on a jet ski. Like they're not going to be like they're going to be riding through the
Uh-oh.
waves
Yeah.
like they're never going to be like mad.
Yeah.
I what was I just going to say about being around those people? Oh,
Well, we were
you
talking
said
about
you're
act as
always
if.
wanting to give to people.
Oh,
Friends, I promise you, I'm not trying, I'm not trying to fool you here. I have my moments, and I probably have a lot more moments than you think.
me
I've
too.
trained my muscles to
Yes.
bounce back faster. And I also I know when I'm vibing low, Michelle knows it too. Like when we
Yeah.
feel like we're vibing low, we refuse
No
to
way.
sit in the shit.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that we each do to quickly come out. What I do, and I know sometimes it goes against what you might want to do, friends, but when you
Mhm.
feel, have you ever had those times that you're like, God, I feel helpless? Like
Mhm.
I got another bill I can't pay. You know, I'm fighting with my mom. My kid is in a situation, and you just feel like I don't have anything to give right now.
Yeah.
I promise you, that's when you need to tap into something that can be helpful and
Yeah.
and a service to others. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's as simple as, all right, quick, who am I grateful for? All
Yeah.
right, I'm going to send him a message and let him know I'm grateful for him. And
Yeah.
literally sending 10 grateful messages when the last thing that you want to do is get up. I promise you, when you try to contribute or you
Mhm.
try to be
Yeah.
helpful
Every
in those
time.
moments that you feel helpless, your energy automatically starts to come back up,
100%.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. And and I think that is the sign of a true leader is, leaders do things they don't want to do. you
All
know,
the time.
all the time, every day. And I think changing your mindset, I call it being the spin master. And, we have to be the spin master. So learn to spin every negative thought into a positive one. Learn to spin every situation or every circumstance or every bad thing that happens. Learn to just spin it. And the better, and it's that mental toughness, and you will get better at it. The more you do it, the better you're going to get. And so, like all the time, like be the spin master, flip it into a positive, flip it into a positive, and I literally have been doing that my entire life. And it has served me well. And I look at so many people that are just playing the victim card, and it's like my upline, my downline, my sideline, my team, the president, the economy, the. And it's like when you stop blaming, stop complaining, and stop justifying, your life will completely change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a Jim Rohn. You studied Jim Rohn. I know. You probably
Oh, love
did you
him.
train with him too?
No, I've seen him speak a lot back in the
Yes.
day, but I never like worked with him directly. But I met him and got to spend
Well,
some time with him.
you emulate his legacy
Oh,
in
I love
so
that.
many ways. And what you just said reminds me of something that he once said. He said, "Your income is it's
That's a
directly
reflection.
proportionate to your philosophy,
Yep.
not the economy."
Yep.
Friends, let's remember that going into this year,
Yes,
your
please.
income is not correlated with the economy. It's correlated with your philosophy. What do you
Yes.
need to do to change? What did you say? The roots bring the fruits.
Yeah, the roots create the fruits.
What do we got to do, friends? What do you need to do now? Indecision is also a decision.
It
Make a
is.
decision and let's
Mhm.
get to work. Let's change what our default settings. Change
Yeah.
what's happening on the inside and watch what happens on the outside.
Yeah.
Michelle, we will you please have a conversation with me again? I feel
Oh my
like
God,
the
would love
only
to.
reason I'm stopping this is because we're at 53 minutes and I feel
Ah!
like we could totally, would you guys like us to do like a sequel?
Oh my gosh.
This felt really
It's
good.
good. That's good. Yeah, I think it's important right now, Jen, and I know you and I could go on and on forever. And like you say something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and like you remind me of stuff that like I haven't even like thought about or talked about in years. And and I think you're right. Like 2023, like the whole planet was down in volume and down in like kind of everything, like not just our profession, but every profession. Like I have entrepreneurs in every single area and they all felt that. However, there's always going to be people. I mean, I look back to 2007, Jen, and first of all, a couple of huge things happened is I saw the movie The Secret and I saw Bob Proctor and started stalking him. Another thing is I went to a seminar called Millionaire Mind Intensive. And that was when I was trying to get pregnant. And I made a decision. And when you just said that, that means cutting off any alternative. And for me, I put blinders on in 2007, 2008. Guys, first of all, I made a decision because I found out I was pregnant on Thanksgiving morning. Talk about being thankful and grateful
I
after
found out I was
trying.
pregnant with my last child on Thanksgiving morning.
No way.
Why does
Oh
this
my
not
God.
surprise me? Sorry, continue.
Shocker. But after trying for 17 months, I found out on Thanksgiving morning that I was pregnant. And we were, we were trying to buy a new house, and because I lived in a townhome then. And so I ended up signing on the dotted line to have this house that I'm in right now. This was 15 years ago, had to have this house built. And this house was my dream house 15 years ago. I still love it. I love my house. I'm ready for, the next chapter. But I will tell you guys, when I signed on the dotted line, I mean, I didn't know that in the next 12 months the economy was going to go to shit and we were going to go into a recession and all this stuff. But I had already made a decision that I was going to put blinders on. I was going to the top. I was pregnant. I just signed on, a $600,000 house at the time. So I was like, you know what? I didn't even know. I didn't even pay attention or know, because the reality was whoever's in office is not going to pay my bills. Whoever's in office is not going to raise my two sons that I'm raising by myself over here. They're not going to throw me a chunk of money and be like, hey, single mama. So if it's to be, it's up to me. And so I literally doubled my income from 2007 to 2008. At the time I was making probably 150,000 a year. The very next 12 months, I made $333,000 in the next 12 months.
There's no
And
coincidence there.
no
None.
coincidence. Yeah. And so you guys, the cream rises to the top. Okay. And if you are bigger than your problems, and that's another thing I learned at that seminar in 2007, was they talked about being bigger than your problems. If your problem, if your problem's a 5 and you're a 2, the problem's big. It's huge. If you're a 2 and your problem's a 5, it's a huge problem. But if you're an 8 or 9 or 10, same problem, the problem's still a 5. If you can see, the problem didn't change. But if you're a 2, it's a big problem. But if you're an 8 or 9, it's a little problem. So we have to be bigger than our problems.
We need to have a conversation on just that.
Right.
Just that. Oh my God. So much goodness, you guys. I hope that we hope that you enjoyed this conversation. We can talk recruiting and team building and prospecting and all the tactical, technical things that do build your business. But
that's all out there.
Without this, you need this to keep you in the game when things get hard. You need this to reinforce you when it inevitably is going to be the biggest challenge of your life. Friends, if you want to come back and see Michelle, first off, I'm going to bring her back on my wall because this was just stupid amazing. But I encourage you, make a decision, enroll with Run with Champions, go on a 90-day experience with us. This is a business building blitz. What you just heard today is woven all throughout the program. It has helped more than a dozen people in 14 successful cycles that I've facilitated. It's helped more than a dozen people go on to be 6-figure or multiple 6-figure earners. This is not something to sleep on. This is something to make a decision on. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to stick a fork in it. It's done. Michelle, I am so appreciative of you, not just as my friend, but also as my mentor, a power partner. I'm so glad that I allowed personal development into my life, because there's no way that I would have attracted someone like you into my circle even 6 years ago, even 7 years ago. You would not be in my circle now. So thank you.
Well, girl, I just love and adore you. I can't wait to see you next weekend. I know we're both speaking at an event in Fort Lauderdale, which is going to be amazing.
Oh, I'm not speaking. That's just you.
Oh, no, you are. You just don't know about it yet. Oh, you are. So anyway.
Was somebody going to tell me? I have no idea what you're talking about. Guys, I literally have no idea what she's talking about. And I just have instant pit sweat. The boob sweat right here is like
Oh my God.
accumulating.
I love it.
I don't
love
even
it.
know what you're talking about. So stay on after
Well,
we hang up.
I always say when you least expect it, you're elected. So
Okay.
anyway, no, but I can't wait to see you next weekend. And I love who you are. I love your heart. I love your drive. I love how real you are, and the world needs more people like you. So thank you for being the light that we talked about at the beginning of this. And I hope that every single one of you on this choose to be the light right now, because we need that. The whole world needs that.
It sure does. And it
Yeah.
is a choice.
Yep.
Friends, thank you for spending this time with us. We don't take it lightly at all. I encourage you to write down some of the nuggets that you took and really let it marinate, reread it over and over and over again, and then implement immediately with whatever you're feeling, whatever that energy is. Go do something,
Yeah.
reinforce it, friends. You've got this, and we've got you. Have an amazing day, and I look forward to hearing from lots of you about Run with
Bye.
Champions. Take
Yay.
care.
Bye, guys.